was your reaction to David Griffin's comments?
I think we were all very, very relieved. It's something we talked about yesterday as far as the expectations on Zion. But we know in pro sports, man, you got to get lucky. You got to get lucky, get with the right team, have the right coach, to have the right style, have the right mentality to be able to develop your skills. And I love the fact that they removed that burden from him. You will never hear a first-round pick people say what David Griffin said to be able to clear that up. Man, this is Drew Holiday's team. That was great. Zion should be relieved. He should be relieved that they did win the lottery, and they're going to be able to put a plan in place, sustainable success. That's the difference between the great players and the good players. That was one thing, Nick, when we got together, he would question me and say, Chris, man, like, what do you think, like, is the difference? I said, Nick, how long can you keep your prime, keep it open, and stay to be a dominant player?
Once you achieve your full ability, how long can you stay there? How high up the mountain do you get, and how long can you stay up there? When you're talking about, when I like to rank players, we're talking about how good was somebody. It's one, like Tracy McGrady is just as a for instance. His peak was super high, but he couldn't stay there that long. And so how quickly can you get to your peak, and how long can you stay there?
And I really believe in institutional stability. I believe in structure. I believe in general managers. I believe in coaches. I've seen so many talented players not be able to get in the right type of system that would highlight their ability. I've been seeing so many really, really talented players be with the wrong coach who didn't say the right types of things. And I think that Zion, being the first pick, and the Pelicans, them clearing the deck, trading Anthony Davis beforehand, so that's not something that he has to deal with. And then unrealistic expectations. Zion wasn't even the leader on Duke's basketball team. Correct. Now we're going to take him into an NBA locker room full of grown men, a lot of them having guaranteed money, and then he's supposed to lead them? No, I like the way that they got off to the start from the time they won the lottery. They didn't even announce that they were going to pick him. And then how they have proceeded since then and the talent that they're putting around him, I'm very, very comfortable with one of the most talented guys we have coming into the NBA that, yes, he will be the star that everyone's projected him to be.
David Griffin did get one thing wrong, though, in his press conference. Zion's not 19. Don't turn 19 for a couple more weeks. He's only 18 years old. He is the youngest, the first player ever drafted who was born in the 2000s. R.J. Barrett also, but R.J. Barrett turned 19 last week. Zion's a few weeks younger than him. But juxtapose this to the previous guy who had this type of hype, not necessarily because of his play, but because of his dad and his personality when he was drafted, and that's Lonzo. And what was said about Lonzo by the person running the Lakers right after he was drafted? He's going to have a banner. He's going to be the next great point guard in Laker history. He
tried to do the Jerry West, what Jerry West did to a veteran Shaq.
Exactly right. 100%. With Jerry West, when he was recruiting Shaq, who had already been to the NBA Finals, who was already a league MVP candidate, that's what was placed on Lonzo's shoulders immediately. Zion is 3 times the player Lonzo is, more accomplished in college, and yet you're still saying, no, this is not his team. This is Drew Holiday's team. We will eventually build towards that. And even just compare it to the situation Ja Morant walks into in Memphis. And I'm very optimistic about Ja. And I don't think they did the wrong thing, but they trade away Mike Conley. They make him the face of the team that everything's going to run through. Zion, the Pelicans next year aren't going to be a playoff team. But Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson. At center, either Jahlil Okafor or the guy they drafted at 8, Jackson Hayes. You have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they took at 17. Josh Hart, E'Twaun Moore coming off the bench. With $30 million in cap space, you have a real team. And so he's not going to be in a position, so many #1 overall picks are, LeBron, the most hyped prospect ever, going into a Cavs team in 2003, that their best player is Ricky Davis, that Paul Silas is the coach, and they don't really have a way to get where they need to. So Zion handled it beautifully. I thought the emotion was touching for a guy who knew this was coming, for him to be, I mean, he wasn't just tears in his eyes. The tears were falling from his face. And to see that, and to see the way he handled it and the way the Pelicans are handling it, it would appear, not even renews, just gives you more optimism no matter how optimistic you are.
Griffin says it's Drew Holiday's team. He's in his 11th year in the NBA, coming off of a career year, 7th in New Orleans. But see, is there a distinction between being someone's team and being the face of the franchise?
Well, I think that they're in a process. I think that even with the Bensons, as far as them resetting, recalibrating everything, when they hired David Griffin, that it's going to be a process, because trying to sell seats and trying to market the team is totally different than who's going to lead the team. And in the fourth quarter, with 8 minutes to go, who's going to run the offense and who's going to get buckets for me. So I believe that they'll go about those things in the right way. It's really important that Zion is doing all the right things. I don't believe that they're going to have him over-marketing him. I believe he's in enough market. He might have wanted to be in New York, but he don't know what he was asking for. I think he's going to be far more comfortable, and I believe they'll do a good job as far as him being one of the faces of the franchise. I think David Griffin did a good job saying, now, if one day that the torch needs to be passed, I believe that's on and off the court, that they'll make sure that that happens at the right time.
Well, and the big move right before the draft was a move New Orleans made with that fourth pick, trading back, getting 8, 17, and 35, getting multiple bites at the apple. But people should understand, I believe if New Orleans had wanted to overpay, they could have moved up to 3. I believe New Orleans could have potentially gotten a deal done with the Knicks, who had worked out Darius Garland, who had looked at players other than R.J. Barrett. If you wanted to try to microwave this thing, put Zion and R.J., have that be the marketing campaign, the two Duke guys, have them be the face of the franchise together. Instead, David Griffin, again, I think, does the smart thing. You get 2 first-round picks for that fourth pick because you weren't in love with somebody there. You get off the contract of Solomon Hill, so you have more flexibility this summer if someone wants to come play with these guys. I just have tremendous faith in the people running the Pelicans, and I also think David Griffin made the point of Alvin Gentry connecting with Zion's family because of the connection with the Carolinas, all those things. But on the court, I think Alvin Gentry's style fits Zion really well. I think this is, if you're a basketball fan, he's in a great place for us to see how great he truly can become.
Yeah, and keep your eyes on the number 8 pick in Jackson Hayes.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. You're talking about he grew 11 inches when he was in high school. He wasn't even a regular starter at Cincinnati Moeller there, goes to Texas. Only averaged 5 shots a game. But as a rim runner, you want to look at another guy, Tyson Chandler. Yeah. If he reaches his potential, that's the kind of player he can be. Lobs to him, great on the defensive end. So I think Griff did a tremendous job in his first draft.
I had a former NBA player tell me last night, Jackson Hayes has bigger hands than Dr. J or Kawhi Leonard, that he'll walk into the NBA with the biggest hands in the league, which obviously could help a lot on catching those lobs.
You know what that means, though.
Well, yeah, wears big gloves, see?
Yeah.
Got you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.